Hi, everybody. I'm here today with Ellaine Gelman. How you doing, Ellaine?
Hi, I'm doing great. Thank you so much.
We've had her before. She is the CEO of LIT7s, which are going to have their first ever US-based tournament. I'm saying US because this is Florida, but who knows where you're going with this, which is pretty exciting. And before we go into the tournament to see how it's looking, I just want to go over with you a little bit with the camp you just did. Tell us about the camp. How did it go?
Yeah,
It's not the first
absolutely.
one. I know this is your third camp here in the States, right?
Yes, it was our second time back at IMG Academy in Florida, but our third camp overall because we did one at the Olympic Training Center last
Nice.
April. Yeah, it was fantastic. I mean, every camp is really special. And, you start out at the beginning as, 50 strangers or 60, strangers. And by the end, everyone was really, really kind of, there's a little community that we'd built, which was really great. Mixed ages, we had adult men, adult women, youth girls and youth boys. So real mixture. So some really great kind of experience that some of the youth got by sort of also interacting and playing with the adults. And our coaches, as always, were just like phenomenal. Perry, Naya, JK, Kelly, they're just, they're the best. And very different ways of coaching as well. So that's great because the different campers have different experiences with different, coaches. And they did their fitness testing. We had the most amazing speakers, DJ Forbes, probably one of the most famous rugby sevens players in the world,
You had not announced him, I think, previous to the camp. Was that like a surprise or?
We did announce him.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
we did.
did. Okay.
We left him till a bit later to surprise people, but we did make an announcement. Yeah, so DJ Forbes, the All Blacks rugby sevens captain,
Legend, yeah.
gave a talk about rugby IQ and staying kind of at the top of your game. We then had Irene Gardner, who's head of USA Pathway, USA rugby player herself. She talked about, because she's a registered sports dietitian. She went into specific nutritional requirements of rugby sevens. And then we also had Josh, who is the head of US rugby men's physical performance for the men's sevens Olympic program. And he talked about all the physical requirements of rugby sevens and kind of set out, all the things that, the campers need to do. We gave everyone little notebooks so they can take notes. So that was a really fantastic way to start the camp. And then we had our fitness testing, then, skill acquisition, working with all the different coaches really closely, played some touch at the end of day one. And then day two, we got into contact defense, and then they played matches. So it was a great experience, a bit of a fun kicking game as well at the end. And everyone just had such a good time.
Let's watch quickly this little video that you sent me because I think it sort of captures what the camp was about, and we have a very nice speech from Perry at the beginning.
It's a mental block in the brain that tell you it's going to be hard, that tell you it's going to hurt. That's the game of rugby. It's going to be hard. It's going to hurt. So tell your little voice in your head right now that you're going to give it all you got no matter what.
We are here, day 2 at the IMG Academy for the LIT7s rugby camp. And today we're getting to see what these campers can do on the pitch.
Hey, Blue, you gotta go, because they're turning and going. Ready, go. Get out, get out, get out. Nice. Good, walk back, walk back.
They seem to have had a lot of fun.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun as well. I mean, it's getting to know the campers and stuff. It's definitely a highlight.
I need to get that photo audio of Perry to make some kind of video with that speech in the background. It's really awesome.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he's full of it, all
Yeah.
of
Full of what? Full of what?
Sorry?
Full of what?
He's full of just like these great
Oh, okay.
speeches,
Because here in
these
the
great.
States, when you say you're full of, we're referring to something else.
No, he's just so inspirational, and the kids, like all, adults and youth, just really look up to him. You can see it in some of the photos where at the end we always do a surprise for the campers. So we give everyone these, I think we talked about it before, these physical, albums with, photos of them with the
That's a really
coaches
nice
and the
idea.
whole camp. And then everyone gets autographs, and everyone is just so excited to like get that moment with him and interact with him and get his autograph.
Okay. Well, I'm glad. So, and the next one is in February next year.
Yes, end of February, already scheduled. That will be at the Olympic Training Center. I think it's going to be heavily sought after. So if people do want to go to that, we haven't actually opened up registration, but people should sign up early because I think we're going to sell out very quickly.
And when are you doing another one in Florida?
And then we're going to kind of confirm what the date of the tournament will be for next year, which obviously will be again in Bradenton. And then I think we're going to try to space the camp out a little bit further from the tournament because we did get a situation where people were having to choose which one to go to, which we don't want. So we'll just make sure it's at a good time of year. But I mean, I love this time of year in Florida. It's the best weather. So
Who doesn't? So let's talk about the tournament. Your first ever LIT7s outside of the not outside of the UK because you had one in Fiji, right?
I know that was us bringing a
Oh, that
GB7.
was you.
So
Okay,
this
okay,
will be our first tournament outside of the United States, of the United Kingdom.
okay. So how is it looking now?
It's
Because
looking
now,
great. What was that?
no, because we're done. Now it's a tournament. There's no more wishing, right?
Yes. So 5 days away. We're super excited. All on course. We have some awesome teams coming down. Every competition looks really exciting. We've got some great vendors. The weather is looking like it's going to be good. We have some great merchandise. And yeah, I'm just excited to get all the players and like watch them play. We've also really excitingly announced that we will be live streaming all of the matches across the board, which is really rare, with commentary. It will be pay-per-view, but we'll be doing highlights as well on social media. And then, players can also get highlight packages if they want after the tournament. So really rare. I haven't really seen, many tournaments offering this. So I'm really excited to be working with our partner GOLS. They're the same suppliers who work with Tropical Sevens. And I met them at Tropical Sevens last year. I was really impressed with, what they were offering. And yeah, I'm really excited. We have, as you can see here, an amazing commentator and media team that we've got on board. So, some of the best people in the game. So we've got Perry Baker, obviously, our man, three-time Olympian. He's worked with us now for the last year. Lance Cavanaugh with Great American Rugby obviously has commentated a lot of, these matches as a referee himself. Wendy Young, who's a regular commentator across, men's and women's games in the USA, from YSC Rugby. And then we've got Dorian Lovelace, who's a wealth of knowledge about, the college game. So she's a host on the College Rugby Show. So she'll be presenting. She just broke her arm, unfortunately, so she'll be in a cast, but she'll be
And
there.
as long as she doesn't break her mouth, that's okay.
Exactly. And then GOLS has put us in touch with 3 commentators we haven't worked with before, but who are from Florida and have been playing rugby for many years and have been commentating for many years, and work with Tropical Sevens and other tournaments. So I'm excited. Every pitch, every game that people are playing, there will be great commentary and live stream, which we've never had before. So I'm really excited about that.
Is it something you do in the UK also? Live
We do.
stream?
We live stream every single event. I think it's personally so important for the growth of rugby to both
Of course.
kind of get the sport out to people to watch, but also to these players, because they need footage of themselves playing in order to progress. And so to be able to offer that to all the levels on all the different matches, I'm really excited about it.
And let me tell you, if I'm guessing the video is gonna be good because these guys seem to be very experienced. But the commentator makes all the difference, right? Because if you have a good commentator, it really adds to what you're watching. And if you have a really bad one, you'd rather press the mute button and just watch it in silence because ruin the experience. So
Absolutely.
I'm very glad that you got people who have experience on board because that's going to make a big difference. as you said, this is a paid live stream. It costs around $30 for all the event. Let me tell you, I hope it goes great, and I think it's worth it. It just seems like we're not very used to pay for live streams here in the US most of the times, unless it's like really necessary. But I totally understand why this has to be like that. And that QR code on the right side of the screen, you can go directly. Oh no, that is for the tickets. Talk about this other thing that you're pushing strongly to have people going to the tournament. And why do you think that they should go? What kind of experience are they going to have?
Yeah, absolutely. Just one thing on the live stream. So Tropical Sevens, NAI Sevens, they all work with GOLS to do similar like live stream packages.
Yeah.
So we're excited to bring something similar to what those really great tournaments are doing. We did send, there's a $5 discount code for those that sign up in advance. So all of the players have received that. So if anyone is interested, find a player, get them to send you a code. But yeah, I mean, on the day experience, obviously, we want people there. We want people physically there watching, supporting the teams, giving the atmosphere. There is a really great live stream option, but if you can make it, if you're from Florida, come down 29th of November. It's going to be a beautiful sight, palm trees all around the pitches. There's seating for 3,000 people. And yeah, there's food and alcohol. I just got a menu of all the things that we're offering, and it's anything you could possibly want. There's also healthy options that we made sure that the players can have, and they can actually pre-order their food. And then there's some cool stalls. There's some really cool stalls just for spectators. There's IV hydration. There's also this really cool like combat suit that's going to be displayed, and they're doing some games there. And then some really cool stuff on the day. So Perry Baker is going to be hosting a who's the fastest player in the tournament. So every team is encouraged to submit one player who they think is their fastest player, and they will be doing a race which will be judged by Perry.
Who's not going to be running against them?
They won't be running against him.
Ah, what a coward. Come on, Perry.
They did. So at the last camp, they did run against Carlin, and Carlin won. But Perry will be hosting the processions. But yeah, really excited to see who that is, and obviously they'll win a prize. And then we've got a fancy dress theme, so it's going to be tropical themed. So, island theme, so people can get out their Hawaiian shirts, their Fiji outfits, their, island stuff. So yeah, really looking forward to it. There's going to be some great cocktails available, some soft drinks. So yeah, great day out for everybody.
Are you sort of satisfied with the amount of teams and quality of the teams you got for this first tournament? Because obviously, being the first one, you have to start somewhere, and it should be. But how far are you satisfied with what you got?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's year one, right? So we were fully expecting, we need to get in people's diaries. We need to show, it's kind of like the first camp, you have to show people what you're offering. We've got close to 25 teams, which I'm really happy about. And I know you, Charlie, helped us to secure a couple, which was great. So it's showing people what we're offering. I genuinely think we will provide one of the best experiences these teams have ever had. And then they'll come back, they'll tell other people. I think there's some really great quality of teams. Chicago North Shore, who just won, championship over there. Gorilla, who plays at Rugby Town. Mm-hmm. Some of these teams that are kind of barbarian sides, but have a lot of elite players. You've got Alliance, who's bringing 3 teams. There's some really great teams. Phoenix, the women's team, our team, the LIT7s team, which has some Eagles in it. So there's some really great quality. I mean, I, of course, want more teams because it adds to the atmosphere, et cetera. It's probably one of the smaller events we've done. In the UK, pretty much all of our events are at least 50 teams. But I'm also realistic. It was year one. I think as long as, every single team that comes has like an amazing experience, I think that will be the best thing that we can do to kind of showcase the brand and the tournament and what it can, turn into. We've already started discussions about next year with like military teams, with USA Rugby, with lots of teams that couldn't make it this year. So I think, it'll be great. We're going to have some great footage and some great photography after this, videography, and then we can really show people what we're about. And hopefully next year, we're going to be turning people away.
Yeah, that would be nice. Well, let me tell you, for a reference, when Tropical 7 started, I I think they just had 2 fields, and a few years later, now they have like 15 fields and 200 teams coming. So
Yeah, I
well,
think they actually had the same amount of teams that we have. They had
yeah,
23 teams, which is
there
funny.
you
Is
go.
that what we've got? So yeah, one day we'll have about 200, but I think,
Uh,
the key thing for sevens tournaments is you have a good amount of teams in each competition so that the teams are getting enough, variety. So I think, we've got, 8 elite men's teams, we've got, I think it's 5, open men's teams. So, so the teams will get enough experience and enough kind of variety, which is the most important thing. And then, the bigger the category, actually, sometimes the harder it is to win. So, the teams sometimes don't like it when there's 16 teams or 20 teams or 24 teams in a bracket, because it's harder to win. So I think it will make it more exciting for everybody because, there is a prospect of winning. And the main pitch, it's a stadium, so they'll
yeah,
be playing in a stadium with, a 5-6 camera, setup for the live stream. So I think for some of those players, they may not have ever had that kind of experience. So it'll be
no,
great on, on the live stream and on video, but also it'll be great in person for them with that atmosphere.
for sure. The, I think that the tournaments, when they get way too big, I sort of don't like it, because there has to be like some kind of middle ground between small and huge. Because when it's so big, it's like, I don't know, you have to just walk so much just to get,
Mm.
to get to the field where, I don't know.
No, I think that's true. And I think like logistically, those things become an issue, right? It's more like, also getting medical, to the right pitch if there's an injury, making sure that, you're fully, as an organizer, aware of what's happening on every pitch.
Yeah,
That becomes harder. It's harder to give a bespoke experience. Like I can tell you about every single team that's entered. I've spoken to them personally, probably. I probably have their manager on my WhatsApp. If they have questions, they can come to me directly. That becomes harder as you get bigger. But I
yeah,
think sort of, around 70 to 100 teams is sort of a good amount, I think. And then
yeah,
obviously you have to have a good team with good referees as well, because you can lose quality sometimes. The bigger the tournament, it's hard to get 30, 40 referees. So we've been, selective. We're actually bringing a couple referees from the UK, and then we have some amazing refs from the Florida area. And we were able to be selective with everybody, because, we have a small group. But if we had 200 teams, it's harder to do. So I think you're right. I think it's definitely easier in some ways to control a smaller tournament. But the problem you have as an organizer is you have a lot of fixed costs. And so, when you don't have many teams, you have to suck up all those fixed costs. So whether I have 50 teams or 25 teams, a lot of the things I'm spending money on don't change,
of course.
because, I want that experience for everybody, regardless of how big the tournament is. So that's where it becomes a bit tricky.
Okay, I have a very specific question. On the main field, how high are the posts gonna be?
That's a good question. So the posts have been the biggest difficulty of this entire
I
situation.
can imagine.
Because initially, obviously the venues don't have them, but moreover, the venues don't want certain types of posts in their ground. Our initial plan was to actually buy a brand new set of posts for Pelicans Rugby Club, who we got a lot of help from, and start kind of investing in the infrastructure of Florida. But the type, we wanted proper posts that they could put in the ground. And so they won't allow that. So we have, with the help of Pelicans, been able to secure 3 sets of posts. But I have a backup, which is I have a set of blow-up posts that have been sent to me on my lawn, which I've yet to try out as
Okay.
a backup if everything goes wrong. But no, we've got brand new posts that are being created, which, have been signed off by the venue. I can't remember how tall they are, but, they're all regulation size, and they're not PVC. So we've got, special post protectors we've ordered with our, branding now. Working on all the banners that are going around the pitches. So it should all look really, really nice and really professional.
Okay, really looking forward to it. I'm not sure if I'm going. I may or may not. I can't tell you right now, but hopefully I will, because it just sounds such an. Because let me tell you, we don't have much of a tradition here in this type of event.
Mm.
So well organized all around. Locally we have, of course, tropical sevens, but that just doesn't seem a Florida event, because it's gone so international. But so, and we're gonna have another one next year. You said you.
Absolutely. Yeah. I wish I could announce the date. We're just sort of negotiating with the venue and seeing, when a good date is. It'll be around the same time of year. It will be November, December. It's just a question of when. So as soon as we have the date, Charlie, you'll be the first one to know.
Okay. Speaking of which, I forgot to put the date on my graphic here, but it's this Saturday, the 29th, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Okay, well, very nice talking to you, Ellaine. I wish you the best, and looking forward to see some of that footage.
Thank you so much, Charlie. And I really hope you come down. Let me know if you're coming. We'll sort out your tickets and everything.
I will. Yeah, hopefully I don't pay for that. Or for the beers.
Exactly.
More importantly.
Exactly.
Okay, good luck. I'll see you around.
Thank you so much, Charlie.
Bye-bye.